these guys are so addicted to social media, and I think the NBA is becoming kind of a meme for lazy and entitled athletes, and it's been kind of legalized for people to say that. And when someone like PK comes out with that kind of harsh attack, it now emboldens others, not black people, to say the exact same thing. And so I don't know. I think this is actually hurting it. These guys don't want to be laughing stocks, and I think the momentum on social media is starting to turn against them, and people just aren't going to continue to tolerate these guys to continue to load management and just chuck up three-pointers forever.
Maybe, but when you make that much money and you live on this ivory tower and gated communities away from the public, you have a reality that is not anyone else's reality. I mean, I heard Jazzy Jazz Crockett say, what do Americans really need with an extra $5,000? Well, maybe $5,000 doesn't mean much to you, but to the average everyday American, it actually means a lot. And so once you lose that perspective, you're never going to be able to take constructive criticism well. I mean, just think about it. The NBA player, whether me, you, or anyone else does not like their effort and we decide not to watch the way I have, okay, until the networks and those who are really financing them actually make that same determination, it will not affect them. And there really is no impetus for them to ever change their behavior.
Steve, they're going after what PK did, and what has been legalized is the ultimate assault on LeBron's legacy. And I'm telling you, I think all of this is intentional. It's like the NBA is tired of LeBron James. They're tired of catering to LeBron James. And that's, no one can say it. Charles Barkley can't say it. People in the NBA, because the NBA is still tethered to LeBron James. But I think they're trying to kill the whole LeBron James model. Let me connect it even further in terms of, like, I'm telling you, Kobe Bryant's legacy is starting to overshadow LeBron's, to the point that Trump yesterday just announced they're doing some kind of statue of Kobe Bryant along with some other people in some garden somewhere at the White House or whatever. This Kobe thing has a momentum of its own, and I don't think it was an accident that PK referenced Kobe. And so LeBron's legacy is being killed, and it's a message to everybody else in the NBA is that we're tired of the LeBron James model, the player empowerment model. I do think this has some impact, and you do agree with me that PK really went after LeBron James here more than anybody else.
Yeah, there is a subtext. If you look at who is the face of the NBA the past 15 years, look, Steph Curry's made an impact, KD, but it is LeBron. LeBron is the single most important, most influential player there has been on a lot of different levels. So when you basically say that there's a problem with the NBA, who is symbolic, who's emblematic of it? Yeah, it's LeBron. But I'm just so cynical at this point that I don't think that there's enough personal pride, and the adults have acquiesced their power, led by Adam Silver. I mean, the fact that the owners, and I still call them owners, didn't push back and tell Draymond Green, look, I don't care what you call us, we're not going to be calling ourselves governors. Again, when you let the inmates run the asylum, what do you think's going to happen?
Okay, Steve, I think there's some acknowledgement. Hey, we have let the inmates run the asylum. So how do you reestablish control? Look, you can go as far, hey, let's fire Adam Silver, I guess, and put in a new commissioner. But there's a process to getting there, and there are steps Adam Silver and the league can take to try to salvage his job. And I think they've legal. Yeah, go ahead.
Next collective bargaining agreement, you really want to make a change? Complete lockout. You've made a lot of money, lockout. Go through a couple of years, you don't even play it, just lockout. You really want to fix this, not this Band-Aid to a hemorrhage. Lockout. Do it for more than a year.
For most of my adult life, I've struggled with my health, feeling sore and low energy. But Relief Factor, it's changed all that. I feel better, I move better, I think better. And here's the thing, it's only $20. You've got nothing to lose. In fact, about 70% of those who order Relief Factor go on to order more. Begin your journey, start your transformation, reclaim your life. Relief Factor.
Fix it.
Okay, but listen, and they went through that in the NHL. They set them down and got NHL players under control, and that's one thing I just want people to be cognizant of. The NHL had similar problems, and the NHL ownership went to the extreme, like we're going to sit you guys down for a year, and that's how they reestablished control. But Steve, in order to do that, you have to build a narrative that it's justified, that it's necessary. And what they're doing right now with PK Subban, with Charles Barkley, with the rest of the media, allowing this conversation, it's so when they make the threat of, hey guys, we'll lock you out, we don't like this current model, it has more believability when you've turned public sentiment against the players the way they have.
I guess, but there's another underlying factor here. A lot of these guys are just unlikable. They really are, just the way they dress, the way they act. I mean, Jason, I was not a fan of the Game of Force Pat Riley Knicks. I really wasn't. I thought they were a kind of a cheap knockoff, not as talented version of the bad boy Pistons. I took great pride in when the great Michael Jeffrey Jordan would always vanquish him in the playoffs. But after reading the book by Chris Herring, Blood in the Garden, about that era, I said to myself, you know what? These guys were okay. They were flawed just like us. They were sinners just like us. But you know what? They were men. They were men. And believe it or not, there was actually a relatability to guys like Starks. There was something very likable about an Anthony Mason, certainly a Charles Oakley. Even Pat Ewing, you kind of like, you know what? This big guy deserved better. Actually, the most unlikable guy was Pat Riley because he was such an egomaniacal dictator. But overall, you said to yourself, you know what? That was a good group of men. I could see why the people of New York to this day gravitate towards them. I don't see those type of guys in the current association. That's the reality.
Accurate. I would argue that those guys from the previous generation, if they were making $30, $40, $50 million a year, they'd probably be acting the same way as these guys. Now, I will say this, the other difference is like there was baby mama's culture back then, but now it's like full-blown baby mama's culture, and the matriarchy is totally in control, and these guys dress like women, they get their hair cut like women.